For the record, I'm Margaret Doherty. I'm the state rep for House District 35, which is Tigard Southwest Portland, and I'm very honored to be here to speak with you. So, Chair Burdick, members of the committee, for the highest office in the United States, integrity is so very important. For decades, Americans have had access to the tax returns of those individuals who have run for and been elected to become President of the United States. This tradition has been voluntary, and it speaks to the importance of transparency that is expected from those who serve as President and Vice President. Unfortunately, this tradition of transparency was abandoned in our most recent election, and instead a dangerous tradition of secrecy stands to replace it if we do not take action. This is why I'm honored to co-sponsor Senate Bill 888 along with Senator Burdick and Representative Williamson to make sure that voters here in Oregon and across the country continue to expect this level of transparency. For those of you that know me, they might be surprised to hear me quote President Richard Nixon, but his remarks on presidential tax returns are appropriate for the times. Over 40 years ago, while under audit, President Nixon, who started the tradition of releasing his tax returns, told the people that people have got to know whether their president is a crook, whether or not their president is a crook. Today, that standard remains, and accordingly, a president's tax return should uniformly be made public so that voters can understand the financial dealings of the individuals who aspire to serve in the highest office of the land. Nearly 75% of Americans, when asked, said they believe tax returns should be released by presidential candidates. These Americans are Democrats and Republicans alike. This is not a partisan issue. It is a baseline of transparency that Americans overwhelmingly expect, and Senate Bill 888 will deliver that transparency. Senate Bill 888 establishes a modest requirement for ballot access in Oregon, one that has been met for decades by president and vice presidential candidates from a variety of political parties. This legislation should be seen merely as codifying the tradition of transparency that Oregonians and Americans have come to expect. I urge your support, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Questions from the committee? Obviously, the current events in our nation's capital kind of